This happens to all of us, me included. It's simply this. I tried X, but nobody watched. And I tried so hard and I worked so hard at it. And X can be everything from live broadcasting to podcasting to YouTube channel to doing webinars to you can go speaking live on stage, all these kinds of things. The thing is this, even though that is incredibly frustrating, it's good. It's actually a good thing that you don't get a huge audience when you first start doing something new. Why? Because it takes practice to hone your craft. And what's more important is that some of that practice needs to take place in front of an audience. You've all seen it in your life where you rehearse everything's perfect, you get in front of an audience and something different happens. Nerves kick in, those kinds of things. You need to hone your craft, not just in the rehearsal stage, but also in front of an audience, ideally a live audience of people who don't already love you. So in other words, what ends up happening is you tend to get good at something at about the same rate that your audience grows. And I'm not saying there's a causal factor there, though there definitely is. The better you get, the faster your audience grows. But it just happens to be that your performance improves about the same rate that your audience tends to improve. It's just one of those natural laws. So my recommendation is don't stress. Work on improving your craft instead. Trust the process. So if you think about it for just a minute, Oprah didn't start with a worldwide audience, well, at least nationwide audience of dozens of millions of people watching every episode. She started, and if you look at her history, it's very, very small stages. Politicians generally don't start with a big national audience. They start running for town council or the school board. You just go through almost everything. Newscasters start in Peoria, and then they get promoted into Omaha, and then they go to Cleveland until they finally hit the big stages. That's just the way it works. Now, occasionally, somebody gets good really quickly, and their audience then starts recommending it to other people, and the audience self-grows at a faster rate. But that's just the way it works. That's why I say the thing we should be focusing on is not mourning over the small size of our audience, and definitely not quitting. Instead, we should be focusing on honing our craft, because most people just aren't ready for big audiences at this point. Now, by the way, this natural process also serves one other function, which is it tends to weed out those who are not serious. So the real question I have for you is, how serious are you at wanting to get good at what you want to do to get your name out into the world? Now, here's what oftentimes happens. People they come in and it's like, okay, I need to start going live or do a YouTube channel or do a podcast or whatever it is, because I need to grow my audience so I can sell what I really want to do. Those are the people that tend to get screened out, who are not willing to take months or a year or 2 years to really get good at what they do and let the audience build itself organically. And so what you really need to decide is, am I willing to do that? Or am I just going to pay out tens and even hundreds of thousands of dollars in ad costs to do it? Now, here's the problem of paying for a bunch of things with ad costs. You're not good yet. And so now you're buying people to watch you when you are not yet worthy of mass audiences. Personally, I'm a little nervous about that because I'm not sure that's a good expenditure of your money. Get good. Then when you spend the money, it is well worth it because people come flooding in. They recommend their friends who more flood in, and all of a sudden, everything changes for you in your life. Think about this. What's your thoughts? I know it's probably disappointing to hear this, but I've thought a lot about this, and I really believe this is part of the natural process. And when we try to go around nature, we don't always get the best results. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. This is Don Crowther saying, just go do this stuff.